Hello, everybody. Dave Neal here, stand-up comic and host of Bachelor Nation News. Well, we have a video today about fan favorite of the program, Madi Prewett, in her modest Maddie's fashion line. The evangelical influencer herself, the queen of Waco, Texas, has released a new fashion line with Chinese swimsuit company Cupshe. We're going to discuss this line, show you a few of the images, the models, and also the modesty that Maddie says she wants to keep in promoting her fashion. Of course, we're also going to call that out because there is several contradictions that happen here, and there's no hard feelings towards Madi whatsoever, but whenever you take a sort of a stance of moral superiority, we like to just call it out when you're actually completely full of crap. Follow me on Instagram at DNeals. Get that money, cash it, patreon.com/Dave Neal for behind-the-scenes bonus content. And every afternoon, we have Bachelor Rush Hour, the hit podcast, all your Bachelor content in one place every afternoon. And look, there's no cynicism here whatsoever. I really could care less if she sells 1 million swimsuits or doesn't sell any. But of course, there are plenty of people that are quasi-triggered from all of the church camps where they had to go to and, were told by old men that they had to put t-shirts on because they're showing too much clavicle or whatever the hell, your lower back dimples are making the boys do crazy things. So, of course, it's shameful and we should probably put an end to that. But we'll get into it now. Here is her fashion line, Modest Madi. I'm kidding. I made this. That's on my Instagram. That's not her fashion line. That's just a photo I Googled, I think from the 30s. Either way. All right, let's get into it. Here's what she had to say about her fashion line. Bachelor's Madi Prewett opens up about designing modest swimsuits that align with her faith. Let's have a listen.
Look beautiful while being modest.
Did anything surprise you about kind of getting to dive into the fashion side of things and maybe seeing the design process and stuff like that after, I'm sure you like fashion and, you're girly, but you're also was a basketball player and, now you're touching into this side of things.
Yeah. Yeah. For me, the team really has been so great to work with because like you said, there's a lot of different aspects of my life where, I grew up with sports. Faith is a big component of my life, a big part of my life, but also love fashion. And so it was trying to figure out, a way to combine all of those things. And so we have a lot of very modest pieces, even the swimwear that we have is very modest and just very elegant. A lot of the pieces are very elegant and timeless, but then we also tap into the more trendy and offering some floral pieces. And so, for me, I really wanted to just kind of hit all those different things. And so, having a lot of jumpsuits were important to me. Having, some good just pant options. We have also some really pretty bodysuits that are fun because you can pair it with a skirt or shorts or pants or whatever. And so I think for me, just having a lot of variety and something that feels very authentic, to me, but also that communicates, that you can still look beautiful while being modest, and you can still, be a standout without having to show off everything. And so for me, that was really important and really what I was hoping to communicate with this collection. And so I feel like it hopefully does a good job of doing that.
Yeah.
Thongs are for the devil, folks.
I was going to ask you about swimwear specifically because they're really cute and the swimwear trends are always changing and they somehow seem to be getting smaller and smaller on certain ends. Yeah. So that was a conscious decision to maybe try to go that way a little bit.
Totally. Yeah. For me, it really is something that I'm very passionate about, of just being modest, whether I am in a swimsuit or whether I'm in a dress or whatever. And so really working with Cupshe to figure out how can we, have a swimsuit line that still kind of carries that message into that. And so we have come up with a few really pretty just one-piece swimsuits,
And by the way, the Reddit comment section is hilarious because everyone's basically saying it's not modest, it's just that she doesn't have a large chest, which I'm not judging anybody. It's just with fashion, and again, I don't know too much about fashion, but my wife does work in fashion as in the fit department, so I actually know more than I probably would have known if not otherwise exposed to that. And everyone comes in different sizes, and and people that, and trust me, dozens, hundreds of people have commented, if you have a size C cup boob or D or E, you can't, there'd be nothing modest about it. It's just that she's, a smaller chested person, which is perfectly fine here.
I'm really excited about, we have this one that even has sleeves that is so gorgeous. It's one of my favorites. I wish I would have had that for my bachelorette party.
And my response to that was, I had a good sleeve retort here. Hold on. Nothing like a sleeve tan at the beach. Hey, good. There should be a variety of options. That's perfectly fine. I don't think, just because some are modest means they all have to be modest. There's some that are more modest than others, and that's just a perfectly fine business plan.
But it's really, really pretty. And then we do have still some two-piece options, but I still feel that they, still appreciate the modest approach. So, yeah, we really...
All right, so drink every time she says modest.
We still wanted it to be like trendy and beautiful, but also modest. And so, yeah, I really feel like the swimsuits do a good job about.
What did they tell her? You'll get a bonus if you say modest 17 times. And of course, my response was, I had another hit response. Is she bragging about being modest? Now, look, here's kind of my place here. If you're going to sell your version of Christianity that involves being modest, then you shouldn't sell products that are not modest. It's almost like you're double dipping. And I don't mean to be like super picky here, but do you understand what my point? If you're going to preach modesty, then why have options that are not modest? Like, I don't know. I think I'm trying to be careful that I'm not over analyzing this.
And that was something that I was pretty intentional on from the beginning, and just communicating with them. And they've been, oh my gosh, so great to work with that.
Now, the whole clothing industry is messed up. We've talked about this in the past. Obviously, Madi was called out by plenty of people for a cash grab working with Shein, which is a company based in China that has culturally appropriated other designers. To the point of even having a swastika on one of their pieces of merchandise in recent last couple years. Not Cupshe, this is Shein. So she's been called out in the past. Of course, we know there have been influencers that have turned down in the Bachelor world a six-figure contract from Shein, but we know that Madi was there to take that. And Cupshe's maybe not, it might not be as egregious, but here's Madi's, former campaign with Shein. And we have an issue with fast fashion, and fast fashion means basically the fashion that can be made so fast that you buy it and it's so cheap that you buy it just for the current style and then discard it. It's super harmful to the environment, ethical, and also there's plenty of companies that still operate with slave labor, namely in places like China, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, and some people, and they get around it. It's not slave labor. The child was 14. In our country, you're allowed to work in a sweatshop for 18 hours. And look, our cell phones are made there. We have a problem with the way batteries are mined. It's an ethical issue that needs a bigger platform. It would be great to me if Madi took on like the whole ethical issue. I think people would pay twice as much money for a bathing suit that was made in the USA. I think that's where we're going to be going to, is bringing back jobs that are union. And look, and we have some problems in the US where child labor is being busted. Like, it exists everywhere. It's a horrible thing to think of if you have any kids, to think that they might be working in these factories, and the suicide rate's out of control and all these other things. But Cupshe, as far as an ethical brand, in sustainability, it's not sustainable or ethical, but of course, also, they have not been accused recently of any slave labor practices. Bar set pretty low, though, if we said they haven't been accused recently of slave labor practices. But either way, that's Madi's product line. Here's where it gets interesting. And here's where I look at things and I go, okay, well, if we're going to sell the idea of, this being modest and whatnot, then, you just got to practice what you preach. And these are fine products. But on some of them, we'll look at, Madi is selling this backless rash guard one piece, but she's not modeling it. And it's like, well, that's okay. Maybe she couldn't be there for the day to model that outfit. But some of these looks, like we have this one right here. We've got Madi modeling. You see what I'm doing here? If you're listening to the audio only on the radio, Madi is modeling a beach wedding eyelash lace V-neck dress, or whatever it is, bikini. One piece. But when you hover over the image, you see that the backside, which I guess would be not considered a thong, but it's cheeky, is being modeled by somebody else. So, which is it, Madi? Is it we're going to sell this product, or we're not going to sell this product? And that's the question I'm asking. Am I being too hard? I might lose a subscriber. Let Madi do what she wants to do. God loved capitalism. I don't know. You know what I mean? But I just think, these are the types of things when you're kind of marrying into a billionaire empire, you look at and you just audit them and you just go, well, maybe we're being a little too harsh. The dilemma of modesty. Christian females have been struggling with the challenge of being modest for what seems like forever. The Bible tells us not to draw attention to ourselves, but we also, very naturally, deeply desire to be and look pretty. Yet 1 Timothy says girls should dress modestly with decency and propriety. You know, that's what I tell my ladies. You better dress with an ounce of propriety. Excuse me. Oh, Lord's trying to choke me. Not with braided hair or gold or pearls or expensive clothes, but with good deeds, appropriate for women who profess to worship God. And this is where you kind of get stuck whenever you quote the Bible in one way that works for you, you have to understand there's going to be ways where it doesn't work for you. So this is a stupid quote. I think it's ridiculous to say you shouldn't, worry about braided hair or gold or pearls. But if Maddie's going to be promoting modesty, shouldn't she not be promoting pearls? And I understand. I didn't see any pearls. She's selling dresses here. You know what I mean? But of course, here we have rare as a pearl necklace for $70. And this is a collection, the Madi Prewett collection. If you're wondering if this is the same Madi Prewett, she's selling gold and pearls. And again, I don't have a problem with it. I'm not a hater. Do what you got to do. But, be a little bit more bulletproof when it comes to the stances you take. So if you are going to sell, and again, what a weird sort of thing to rail on, but if you are going to sell products that you model, that you are promoting with a sort of Christian lean on it, with modesty, then where are you on the, okay with having the models show off their butt cheeks and not you? You know what I mean? I don't know. I just think it'd be one thing if she was like not taking a stance, but she says modesty 17 times. You know what I mean? Here's an interesting comment from someone who kind of like shames those. This is from a different piece. Interesting that the first thing Adam and Eve did was cover their nakedness, and now we want to show it off. So it's just that like internalized shame. You can call it misogyny. You can call it whatever the hell you want. But this idea that we're controlling women in what they should wear, not necessarily through the court of law, but in some ways through controlling them with, just the different sort of like shame aspects through culture and through religion and things like that. And because, surely I thought this was in jest or from a troll, but folks are concurring with it. How we have fallen from any sense of holiness and decency at all. Then again, the only difference between the thong and what many gals wear to church is only a matter of pigment, dimples, and freckles. At least your wife will not be teasing the men, but rather leaving nothing to the imagination. Heck, make a few bucks off of it and let her post and present naked. Okay, so this person's kind of on a weird rant. But the point being is that we're too worried about like how boys and men will react to what women wear. And I think we should be a little bit more supportive of people just like, embracing what is our God-given body. You could look at it in two different ways. Being modest is supposed to be respectful to God. God's like, hey, idiots, I didn't create you wearing clothes. I created you naked. Why don't we appreciate the human body in its purest sense? Isn't that kind of strange? We live in a society where we're not allowed. I mean, I understand, in some ways it's like cover up, but it's like, why should a girl at church camp have to put a long sleeve shirt on because she's wearing a bikini when the guy can wear, you know what I mean? Like nipples are nipples is my place. And I never thought I'd have to say that today, nipples are nipples. But that's my take on Modest Maddie's fashion line. It's for sale. You can go purchase it. Let me know what you guys think.